Welcome, friends, to this presentation of Venerable Yin Kit's Dharma talks that were first released in March of 2019. They're based on the teachings of the 10 vows of the Samantabhadra. We'll start with meditation, followed by Venerable Yin Kit's teachings. Enjoy.
Be mindful. Be mindful the way the mind is. Be mindful the way the body is. Be mindful of the body and the mind the way they are right here, right now, at this very present moment. Using the body to anchor the mind at this present moment is a very, very important first step, because the body is really sitting here, sitting right here, right now. And when the mind can feel the way the body is sitting, the mind is tuned in, connected, reunited with the physical body. Mind and material, the physical, are right here, right now. But if the mind is not here, but the body is just sitting, they are separated. The mind has wandered off. The mind has left this moment. It's not here. So anchor the mind by being very, very mindful, by being very aware of the way the body is sitting. Do not hesitate to spend even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just feeling how the body is sitting as a whole, right here, right now. When the mind can be continuously aware of the presence of this physical existence, the mind is tuning in to the present moment, which is the most critical moment of our lives, which is the moment that we are really fully living and alive. And it cannot be forced upon. It's just like you tie up an untrained wild horse. It struggled. It tried to break off from that leash, from that rope. So will this mind, this untrained mind, will behave just like this wild horse. So we need to patiently train and tame this wild horse and bring it back here and now. When the mind can stay here and now for a longer period of time, that means the continuity of awareness is being cultivated, it's being developed. Then naturally, at that moment or at any moment, your normal practice or the practice that you have developed on a daily basis, you get used to it. The mind will just switch to it by itself, spontaneously. If the mind is not here long enough, then you're trying to force it all the time to return here to that meditative tool. And it's going to be so strenuous, so tiring. It's like a fight, a struggle between your intention to train the mind and that wild mind. Sometimes it could become very frustrating. Sometimes it will tire down the whole body, the physical body, and even the mind. It doesn't want to work, it doesn't want to practice. So by force, it's not going to get you anywhere. Only by developing that awareness to this present moment, right here, right now, in a continuous sense, then it's more possible, it's more likely, and it's even easier for you to observe that meditative tool that you're so used to. For example, the breath. The breath will just, you will just notice the breath naturally. You don't have to pay attention, particular attention, or trying to force the mind to stay put at the entrance of the nostrils or in the torso area. And you don't have to force yourself into focusing in one point. Try to narrow down the area of focus. Try to sharpen the mind up. You use so much strength. Use so much strength comes to a point that you're actually forcing it. And for developing this samasati, you don't have to force. Naturally, when your mind becomes so much at the present moment, the experience to this whole physical existence is actually becoming very obvious. And the changing phenomenon within that physical existence is also become very obvious. There, then you need to actually have that determination to maintain that focus, that awareness, that mindfulness, that balance of mind in a continuous way. With that continuity of that pure mindfulness, that objective observation, your mind will naturally become very focused, very concentrated, very sharp. And very calm and quiet. So remember, no force, no control, no manipulation is necessary, but strong determination, a strong confidence, a strong faith, and the utmost efforts are necessary. And at times, this concentration could be broken. Whatever reasons, for whatever reasons. One has to try to accept it. When one becomes aware of it, one needs to accept it. Acknowledge that that concentration is being broken, and accept that it is being broken. And that experience actually teaches us that's the way my mind used to be. There's no need to get frustrated, no need to get upset or angry with your own mind. We just have to smilingly start again. Maintain this balance of mind with acceptance, embracing that experience, and start over and over again. And knowing that even the wildest horse can be tamed, can be trained. And even the wildest mind, the most reactive mind, can also be trained and tamed. It's just a matter of time, a matter of efforts, a matter of determination, and a matter of practice. So be continuously aware and be continuously mindful. With a mind that is centered, with a mind that is balanced, with a mind that is without judgment, without preference, without interference, or control, or manipulation, or expectation. It's just objective observation, merely experiencing and understanding each experience the way it is. The experience right here, right now. Maintain the awareness moment to moment, moment by moment. Maintain that continuity of awareness from moment to moment. Be aware, be mindful, be aware, be mindful. 南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。We seek refuge in the fundamental teacher, Sakyamuni Buddha. The sutra opening gatha. Let us do it together. The Dharma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in a million kalpas. Now we are able to hear, to study, and to practice. May we fully understand and realize the Tathagata's true teachings. So, as I told you last week about this sutra opening gatha, it was written in the year around 700 BC. So it's been very old gatha, okay, much older than you and me. Okay. So it was written by an empress who wasn't a very actually nice empress, but she was a Buddhist. So anyway, okay, so we continue with the 10 great vows of Po Lam Buddhist. We studied this last week. I just want to go over, recall your memory a little bit. The first vow is to respect all Buddhas. The second vow is to praise the Tathagatas. The third is to give generously. The fourth is to repent all karmic hindrances. The fifth is to rejoice in others' meritorious deeds. The sixth is to request the turning of the Dharma wheel, so the Dharma will continue. The seventh would be to request the Buddha to remain in the world, so that the world will not become dark. So the world will have a wise person here to continue spreading his wisdom. So the eighth would be to always follow the Buddha's teachings, so that we don't get astray, fall into the traps of our own defilements. To constantly live in accord with all the beings. That means you try to work with beings, but this is actually very sensitive. It is actually a very delicate topic. If you try to live constantly in accord with beings, but it means in this way is live accord in a skillful way, not in an unskillful way. Okay, so that we have to be very, very careful with this. Otherwise, we say, oh no. Well, that's what the Po Lam Buddhist vow, the ninth vow, is to live in accord constantly with all beings. Then I can support him to use substances and all that. No, okay. So, and then the 10th one is to dedicate all merits to all beings in the universe. That's actually also another way to cultivate generosity. So we have actually briefly studied on the 10 vows of the Po Lam Buddhist. These 10 vows, it also could be considered as the guideline of a Bodhisattva. A person who vowed to become a Bodhisattva should actually follow this guideline. And you can see, even we don't need to vow to become a Bodhisattva. It's actually good guidelines for us to follow too, isn't it? So Bodhisattva are not somebody who will be like always in the heaven. We can be human Bodhisattva. Yeah. So I mean, we've seen a lot of Bodhisattva in human forms in our lifetimes. I'm sure you have encountered some. Have you? Yeah, I have encountered quite a few when I used to work in the hospital. The doctors, the nurses, the care aide, and even patients could have the Bodhisattva behaviors. So okay, so I want to show you. if you ever happen to go and visit a Chinese temple, if they ever happen to have a hall with Shakyamuni Buddha in the middle, and this Bodhisattva we call Wanshu Bodhisattva is Manjusri Bodhisattva on his right, or on his left, and we look at it from here, it's on his right. But it's on his left as Manjusri Bodhisattva, and then on the Shakyamuni Buddha's right, it will be Pusen Bodhisattva. It's always like that, always. So how then? Remember, I told you how to distinguish the differences between each Bodhisattva. Each Bodhisattva has their own characteristics, right? So Manjusri Bodhisattva, Wanshu Bodhisattva, always ride on a what? On a lion. Okay? On a lion. This is sort of like a very strange lion, blue in color. but you know, but it's ceramic. It's actually a very beautiful piece of pusa. So it's a lion, and this Pusen Pusa is Wanshu Pusa is a bit different. Wanshu Pusa sometimes he carry a sword, so that means cutting off, severing all the defilements. Okay, so Pusen Pusa, you know, Pusen Pusa rides on a what? How many tusks?
6.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, very good. 6 tusk elephant. What does the 6 tusk represent? Remember, I actually have a very quick word for you. 6 tusk represent.
The senses.
No. Pusa.
The pyramids?
Yeah, the paramis. The paramis, the 6 paramis. In Mahayana Buddhism, we only talk about 6 paramis, but in Theravada it talks about 10 paramis. So it's a little bit different. So that's why you guess it's the 6 senses. So it's the 6 parami. The 6 tusk represents the 6 parami. So what are the 6 parami in Mahayana tradition?
Generosity.
Always.
Patience.
Yeah. Patience include tolerance, right? Okay.
Concentration.
Concentration, that means samadhi, right? Okay. Something that you cannot miss always, based on, you have to remember the pyramid of how you actually improve yourself or work yourself up, based on a very strong foundation of ethics, morality, right? So generosity, morality, tolerance, and then tolerance, concentration, that's the 5th. And then the 4th is, in order to get concentration, the right kind of samadhi, what do you have to put into? Put into the
Joyful effort?
Yeah, right kind of efforts, right kind of efforts. And then, after all these, there comes the wisdom way. Is it really that, okay, you cultivate generosity and then morality and then this and then this and then this, then you get wisdom? Or
They all work together.
they all work together, you all work together, okay? So, so this is the Mahayana tradition, okay? So because this is the Mahayana text, so that's why I need to tell you the Mahayana tradition. I don't want to confuse you. I know it's quite confusing sometimes because we have been studying the Theravada and the Nikaya for a long time, and now when we switch to Mahayana, then there's a bit of differences. I don't want to confuse you, but you know, it's just that. But I want to, when I'm teaching Mahayana, or when I'm sharing Mahayana text, I want to go the Mahayana way. Okay, but you can see that there are a lot of commonalities between the Theravada and the Mahayana because it all based on the same tenets, the original tenets of the ancient Indian Buddhism. All right. Okay. So these are the two Pusats you always see in a hall where they house a Sakyamuni Buddha and then they call this is called the three saints. All right. Okay. Now I go back to this text. The more I read it, the more I like it, and it doesn't seem to be so difficult now. Yeah. So I want you to actually flip over to 410. I don't know the Chinese because I don't have the Chinese book on this, but Lok Lim Fat. So we talked about this. The 1, 2, 3. The third paragraph. The third paragraph it says actually on the second paragraph is attaining a sudden and great awakening. Da 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 da. And at the end, then with one voice from different mouths, the Bodhisattva will have followers purify their 6 sense organs. Okay, and it says one will say you should reflect on the Buddha and so on until you should reflect on the heavens. These 6 methods express an aspiration to become a Buddha. That's why it's so important. Okay, you have a book? Okay. Do you have a Chinese to give it to him?
I did.
Oh, okay. You use the 用那个中文的，你可以用那个中文，在最后那个菩萨行法品，六念法还是傅。So these 6, it says they give birth to bodhisattvas, and before the Buddhas, you should now confess. That's afterwards, okay? So these 6 reflections are so important. Okay, let us reflect on the Buddha, reflect on the Dharma. I would like to replace the word reflect with contemplation. With contemplation on the Buddha, or contemplation of the Buddha, or contemplation of the Dharma, contemplation of the monastic community. Okay, let us look at the first 3. Reflection or contemplation on the Buddha. Why? Why is it so important to reflect and contemplate on the Buddha or of the Buddha?
On his good qualities.
Yeah. The wonderful good qualities, and also
It can help us develop our gratitude.
yes, because it is okay. That's very good. Yes. When you want to vow to become a practitioner, you take refuge. And remember, in the Nikaya, when we study the Dhammapada long time ago, when we study what the Buddha taught, remember, inside of what the Buddha taught, it says, the Buddha said, be an island unto yourself. Yes, you take refuge in the Buddha, you take refuge in the Dhamma, you take refuge in the Sangha. As a vow for yourself to actually to start practicing the Dhamma. But eventually, the Buddha said you have to be an island unto yourself. Why would he say that? Because we are all the future Buddhas. We all have this Buddha nature in us. So reflection on the Buddha or the contemplation on the qualities of the Buddha are very important. One is to arouse this gratitude. The other one is for us to look up to somebody. The Buddha, oh, that's my teacher. My teacher has such wonderful good qualities, and I need to cultivate the similar qualities. And third is, the gratitude is very important, is especially when we are in deep water. Sometimes when we are in deep water, we tend to lose faith very easily. I don't want to use the word especially, but sometimes during our meditation retreats, there's so much difficulties, so much challenges. You say, oh, can it stop? Or can I have a break? Or is it finished yet? What's going on? You keep asking all these questions. Why will you keep asking all these questions? Is in the deeper part of your mind, there is actually this slight intention of losing the faith. Otherwise, yeah?
Is that the same as doubt?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then they said, really, can I become a Buddha? Really? Is it possible to become a Buddha? Is there a real Buddha there? Right? Because we haven't seen a Buddha. We only see the statues. You only hear about the Buddha. Well, we talk about the Buddha. Really? Was there a real Buddha coming out to teach all these teachings? Really? So it's very important to keep on having this gratitude and this faith in order for us to know that, well, yeah, there is this teacher, even though I haven't seen him before, but what he taught, the second one is the Dharma. What he taught is the truth that I've been constantly experiencing, I've been constantly seeing, right? And yeah, even though I didn't see him, it really doesn't matter whether I can see him or I can feel him. It doesn't matter. But what he taught was right. What he taught was completely correct. What he taught was truth. And I need to regain my ground. So the first monastic community, because monastic community, and an ideal monastic community is supposed to be dwelling onto perfect morality all the time. So perfect, and be pure, right? So a monastic community represents purity, okay, and also represents harmony. I will talk about that later on. So by reflecting on the triple gem, we regain this faith, we regain this ground. We don't lose that. We don't doubt about what the Buddha taught, because we have already experienced it. But if he's something that he has taught, and yet we haven't experienced it yet, you can choose not to believe it first, okay? Until you actually experience. Then you can start believing in it. But also remember, very important is to remember the Dharma. The Dharma is in the Heart Sutra. I would say, who is the mother of all the Bodhisattva? Huh? Ananda? Paramita. Yeah, what is that?
The wisdom.
Yeah, what is that?
Dharma.
That's the Dharma. Because of this Dharma, the Buddha was able to become Buddha. Because of the truth of existence. Because he saw the truth of existence everywhere. So he attained enlightenment. So whether he was a real person or not, does it really matter? No. Right? We haven't seen our great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. But we do know that we have a great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, right? We do, right? So it doesn't matter whether we have really personally met them or met him. As long as the Buddha Dharma the Buddha's Dharma, what he taught, we can truly experience, we can truly see, and we know that is truth. Okay? So the first three. So remember, especially when you're going to a long course, okay? So during the long course, if you encounter difficulties and you're starting to lose faith in yourself, you start to reflect on the qualities of the Buddha. Start to reflect on the wonderful teachings of the Dharma that creates so many Buddha and Bodhisattva in the past and in the future. And then you will regain your ground. And anytime during our lifetime, if we lose faith, remember, constantly go back to reflect on the qualities of these triple gems. Okay? Don't depend on the qualities of a person, of a human person, or human teacher nowadays. Don't depend on me, please. I'm a very, very bad guy. No? Okay. Half bad. All right. Never mind. I'm not perfect. I'm not enlightened. I'm not a Buddha. So, you know, what I do could be sometimes I could make mistakes. What I say, I sometimes could make mistakes. So you totally reflect on my qualities. Okay, if you reflect on my good qualities, good. If you reflect on my bad qualities, then make sure it is a teaching also for you to not to follow my bad qualities, not to cultivate my bad qualities. Okay, so that is the reflection of the triple gems. And then the next one is the reflection on morality and generosity. And the last one is the reflection on the heavens. So morality, we all know. Morality helps us to actually build a very strong foundation, like what we are building now in the Dharma Hall, right? A very strong foundation, so many rebars. And our site manager told me today, I went into the site, she said, "Sister, if there is ever a bomb, I will come to Po Lam and hide myself in the strong room." He said, "I'll be very safe." I said, good, because this place is going to last for ages. So, the morality, we know that's the base. If we have to actually cultivate that, we will try our best to do it. But remember, morality is, even though it's a basis, sometimes you need time. You really need time to take a step, each step, a little step. Don't force yourself. I have seen many of my students forcing morality on themselves and forcing morality on their families. And that creates so much grudges. I'm not saying that you can be immoral. No, I'm not saying that. But if you can be as moral as possible, that would be the best. But sometimes, you know, little things that you cannot abide by, as long as you know, I cannot do this now. I will try. As long as you become aware, I will try. Especially this morality. Morality is actually to help us to correct ourselves, to change ourselves, not to allow us to police on others. Remember. So policing on others based on morality is a wrong do. It's a wrong act. You can advise, but don't police them, okay? And reflect on generosity. And you know, why do we have to reflect on generosity? Why is generosity so important?
Lose our attachment to things?
Yeah? Laurie?
Well, I mean, that, of course, but I would think of supporting our monastic community.
Yeah.
Generosity is critical for that.
Yeah. And also supporting not just the monastic community, it also supports the propagation of the Dharma. That is so important. You have something?
I was thinking it also helps remove that sense of self, the strong sense of self.
Sense of self, yeah. It's just like attachment, right? And also generosity. Remember the old woman cut down her hair. Her her oil lamp is the last one to be extinguished, remember? How come? Because even such a small donation like that is a great act, is a great intention, is the biggest intention. So that will bring a lot of merits, even though that we are not acting out because we want to get merit. But merit comes your way anyway. Okay? So that's and why do we have to reflect on the heavens? What do you think? Okay, in order to be reborn in heavens, a person needs to abide by at least the basic 5 precepts, the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts, in order to be reborn as in heavens. So that basic 5 precepts is basic, to be reborn in heavens. But you know, we all know that to be reborn in heavens, that means we lose this human life, human body, not human life, human body, yeah. We already lost that human life in order to be reborn in heaven. But we won't have this human body, so we won't be able to use this body to practice. So it's actually, in the heaven, it's actually always, right, what? Having fun. Enjoying their merits. Enjoying food, everything. You know, a lot of sensual pleasures. Okay? So, why do we have to reflect on the heavens? Is because in order to be born as a heavenly being, that person also have to have a very strong morality and generosity too. Have a very strong base of that too, in order to be reborn.
Is it also kind of a warning because then we don't have the human body to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So these 6 aspirations, it says, wow, you can become the 6 methods express an aspiration to become a Buddha. They give birth to Bodhisattva. You see, these 6 aspirations actually allow us to become a Buddha, and it gives birth to Bodhisattva, because these 6 aspirations actually teaches us how to really reflect on the qualities of the Buddha and the Dharma and on the monastic community to actually sever our deep hidden traits of craving, animosity, and ignorance. Okay? So that's why if we aspire to become a Buddha, we have to start walking very soon. Okay. All right. So the contemplation of Pusen Pusat. So this whole chapter is talking about the contemplation of Pusen Pusat, and that is the practice of Pusen Pusat. And he said to repent for the unwholesome deeds of the 6 sense doors are very important. So which 6 sense doors you already know, right? The first is eye. The eye sense doors actually attach to forms. So that's why at page 410, last paragraph, it says, in innumerable previous lives, because of your eyes, you have been greedily attached to material forms. So we attach to material forms. And because of your attachment to such forms, you greedily desire the dust of the passions. Ooh, strong, eh? And because of your desire for the dust of the passions, you receive a woman's body. That's not fair, right? And living in age after age, you are deluded by and attached to forms. Forms harm your eyes and you become a slave to desire. In the old days, this is all, remember, a very old sutra. I think at that time, all the Buddhists and Bodhisattvas only sees women, doing their hair, putting makeups and wearing garlands. But nowadays it's so different. Men put makeups on. Men wear earrings, right? So I think that, because of your desire for the dust of the passion, you receive a woman's body. That could be, have a little bit of, we can have a little bit of discussion on that, or we don't have to discuss on that. But, but I think it's actually better to say you received a human body. I think human body is actually more neutral. And I think sometimes men don't really necessarily have less attachments than women. Wow, so fast. Yeah. So, but sometimes, most of the time, generally speaking, women do have more attachment to forms, really, right? Especially, no?
I guess it depends what woman you are.
What kind of woman you are? It's true. It's true. And also, how many women's life you have taken, and which one is this one? Is this going to be the last one, or is it going to be the second last, or the third last? It really depends, right? Yeah, I think some women have less. Some women do have less. I've seen a lot of women with really very little attachment to the dust of passion. I've seen that. And so hopefully, even though we may be reborn as a human being next lifetime, hopefully we won't be living in age after age we are deluded by and attached to forms. Hopefully we won't be. Okay? Or hopefully before we die this lifetime, we won't be attached to this human body that is going down, that's degraded and ready to be let go, and we still don't let go of it. Okay? Remember this. At the time of death, remember to let go. Let go of this form, at least this form. Yeah? So remember all these precepts or all these contemplations is actually teaching us to really learn how to let go and understand how our sense doors actually start to derail us. Yeah, okay? So the ear sense doors. I think I have. Okay, the ear sense doors. All right, the ear sense doors is on page 412. How come I don't talk about it? Oh, the eye. No. One more thing about the eyes is on page 411. The third paragraph. It says, having spoken in this way, a follower should show respect to the Buddhas in all directions. Turning to Shakyamuni Buddha and the Great Vehicle Sutras, again one should say, I now repent for the heavy sins. You know that I don't like the word sins, but let us use it as it is right now. For the heavy sins of my eyes are such an obstacle and are so tainted that I am blind and can see nothing at all. Yeah, sometimes even though we might not be attaching to forms, but sometimes we could be so blind. I always complain. I walk by and I saw something which is not supposed to be there. And next day I walk by and still there. The second day I walk by and it's still there. Third day I walk by and it's still there. And then I will ask them, I said, is it supposed to be there? Oh, no. Sifu, no. I said, don't you see it? It's been there for weeks. No. Right? Really? You don't see it? Really? We don't, I really don't, I really can't believe that. Really don't see it? But it's so obvious. But I now really think it's true, because we are blindfolded by our own delusions, by our own thoughts, by our own wandering mind. Not necessarily by the forms, but we can be blindfolded by our thoughts too. If you are thinking when you are walking, a lot of times you can trip over. You can be run over by a car. If you keep looking at your phone while crossing the road, you could be run down by a car. So at that time, people are attaching to the form of a phone. So many people are. Today I stopped at a stop sign, and this man having a phone, and he just crossed without looking. And all of a sudden I just remembered this, the eye sensors attached to the form of a phone. And same as people attaching to the form of women, of men, or of certain things, so that they can be blindfolded, okay?
So it's not about noticing. Noticing would mean not necessarily attaching to it.
Noticing, you're not that far yet. You're just noticing. You may still be attaching to it.
May
Noticing
come after you notice it.
You notice, you acknowledge, and then you don't go there. Then it's not attaching. But noticing, not necessarily, right? You should be noticing your phone when you're looking at a phone. You should be noticing the TV when you're watching the TV. You're looking at the TV screen, but you are noticing what is playing on the TV. But sometimes people are watching the TV, but they are not watching the TV. Right? So that's the eye sensors, okay? The second one is the ear sensors. It's 412. The last paragraph. It says, universal sage, Buddha said, will respond, because of your ears, you have sought external sounds for many eons. Hearing wonderful sounds gives rise to deluded attachment to them. Hearing evil sounds brings about the damage of 108 kinds of afflictions. This kind of retribution from evil ears results in evil things. Incessantly, hearing evil sounds gives rise to various entanglements. Due to your perverted hearing, you will fall into truly evil paths, remote places, or wrong views where the Dharma cannot be heard. True? True.
Again,
Right?
it's not just hearing it, it's what you do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You probably, Laurie and Versha, you will have some experience with kids coming to school swearing. Why would they swear? They hear it at home, they hear it on the TV, they hear it, they pick it up, they do it themselves. They don't know. They might not know whether this is right or wrong. Right? So hearing the sounds can cause perverted hearing. You will fall into truly evil paths. Sometimes I watch a movie or two, especially when I fly out to Southeast Asia so long. Nowadays it's so strange, those movies. So much swearing. So much swearing. It's so strange. Why do they need to put so much swearing into movies? Is it a trend? Is it really trendy to swear?
Yeah, it's very trendy to swear.
Oh, so if you don't swear, you're not trendy at all. Oh, I rub it. Oh. Oh, wow. Does your clients swear?
More and more so, yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
We better don't follow them, eh?
Oh, it's easy not to.
Yeah, okay. Make sure we shut our ears.
Well, that's just it though. That's what I'm thinking. You don't need to shut the ears. It's just what you do with it.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Because you see, I always say sound is not a noise. Sound is only a sound. But only when your ears go to the sound and then turn the sound into something that you like or you don't like, it becomes something. If you don't like it, it becomes a noise. If you like it, it becomes a very pleasant, nice sound. It might not be nice for a lot of people, like people having the radio blasted in the car. It's not nice for the cars around it, but he likes it, she likes it, right? So, it's nothing wrong with the sound. It's how we deal with the sounds. So we bring our awareness back to the ears. Just pay attention on the ears. And on the hearing the sound and watching how our mind. And it's actually, you should practice it. Put on some music. Music that you don't like. Just try. 5 minutes or so. You pay attention to this, to here. Just put attention right here. In the beginning, you may be all stirred up, but gradually, when you take a breath in, and just feel, breath in and feel, gradually, that sound will sometimes die down. Sometimes it doesn't bother you. That's what I do with babies crying on the plane. A lot of times, babies sit next to me. I know, that's my challenge. Or in front of me, or behind me kicking. You know, that's my challenge. Then I will try to use the contemplation on my ears. It works very well. It works very well. Then you just rest. Okay? So that's the ear. Remember the ears. So on page 413, the second paragraph, the 6th line, he says, for many eons until I had this body, because of my ears, I was deluded by sounds and attached to hearing them, or not hearing them, just as lacquer sticks to grass. You cannot remove lacquer from grass. Can you? You can't. No. So when I hear evil sounds, a pervasive poison of affliction arises, deluding me and attaching me to everything without resting even a little. That's how I find this sutra becomes so inspiring, more and more after I read it over and over again. So, bad sounds wear on my nerves and make me fall into the 3 destinies, I mean the lower realms. Yeah? And bad sounds, now understanding this for the first time, turning to the world-honored ones, I confess and repent of it. So it's actually not repenting the ears, it's repenting the reactions of the hearing, upon hearing. Okay? All right? Wow. Okay, so the nose sense doors. The nose is on the same page, 413. And on the second last paragraph, the 3rd line, in the innumerable eons of your previous lives, because of your lust for odors, you developed sense discriminations and became constantly attached to them, and you fell into life after life. That's what it says about odors. And odors, it's actually very interesting. I remember when I still working in the hospital, 30 years ago, right? One day I went with my girlfriend. She doesn't work in the hospital. she wanted some perfume. So I went with my girlfriend to go and get some perfume, right? And she's trying all this and here and this and like this, and I don't move. And the sales lady said, "Oh, don't you want to get something? I think jasmine fits you very well." I said, "Smell mine. I have Lysol." "Smell me, I have Lysol, the best perfume in the world, the strongest perfume in the world." I said, no perfumes can cover my perfume. I remember in the old days we used to share wardrobe. Me and Tai Sifu used to share wardrobes. And she always said, "Don't ever put your clothes into my wardrobe, okay? My wardrobe will be all Lysol smell." Because the Lysol, you work in the hospital, that Lysol stays in all the fabrics. It stays on my hair, on my whole skin. Because in hospital they use Lysol in the old days a lot. I think nowadays too. I don't know whether they still use, do they still use Lysol? Bleach? Oh no, we don't use bleach. Lysol. You have heard of Lysol?
No.
Oh, have you heard of Lysol? Yeah. Yeah.
Not in the hospital.
Really?
We use bleach to wipe down surfaces and stuff.
Oh no, in Hong Kong it's all Lysol. Yeah. So yeah, that's about odor. So I'm very okay with the manure. And so springtime, manure time, right? So that is Chilliwack, manure time. Okay, the fourth one is the tongue sense doors. The tongue sense door is 414 to 415. So he's the tongue sense doors. It says that to the second paragraph, in the middle of the second paragraph, where there's an open quotation. Yeah. This tongue, moved by thoughts of evil actions, makes me praise deluded speech, idle talk, harsh words, divisive talk, slander, lies, and wrong views. And it also makes me speak useless words. With such a multitude and variety of evil actions, which provoke fights and dissensions, I teach what is not Dharma, as if it were Dharma. I now repent for all such actions, unwholesome actions. And the next paragraph, the last third line, he said, the errors of this tongue are countless and without limit. Thorns of evil actions are rooted in the tongue. It is this tongue that stops the will of the true Dharma. Ooh. It's sad, isn't it? But it constantly happens. Constantly happens all the time. That's why it's really, we really need to be very careful on our speech. And such an evil tongue cuts off the seeds of blessings. On page 415, the first paragraph. Meaningless things are frequently forced on others. Don't we always do that? Praising wrong views is like adding wood to a fire, bringing greater harm to beings already in raging flames. It is like someone who dies from drinking poison without getting any sores. It is like someone who dies, well, it says it's like adding wood to a fire, bringing greater harm to beings already in raging flames. You can see it happens all the time nowadays around the world. Look at what is happening in Europe, in France. This yellow vest movement, because of a small group of people starting, and then what? Repeating, throwing in all this speech, and throwing actually. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I don't understand what they're going through, but this is really like adding wood to a fire. A protest can be very peaceful, but a protest can be also very, very destructive. So if we don't want something that we want to look for to become destructive, we have to stop throwing wood into the fire. So that's why I remember during the old days in Vietnam War, there were a lot of quiet protest and peaceful protest. But yet there are also very extreme protests, like throwing themselves into fire, burning themselves, sacrificing their body, on the protests of Vietnam War. So that happens. But here it really means our speech. So that's why this is I for myself, this is the most difficult of all. The 6 sense doors. This is the most difficult. Really. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The most difficult. My Sifu says, for 100 things, you praise people 99, you did 99 right. One little thing that you don't do right or you don't talk right, you are a sinner forever. So, very, very careful with this speech. In the Chinese sayings, it says, one word can revive a nation, and also one word can kill a nation. 一言興邦，一言喪邦，我們中國人有一句話講，一言興邦，一言喪邦，這是我們講這個嘴，口業。So the tongue is actually really the verbal conduct, okay? So if we don't want to be falling into evil paths for hundreds or thousands of eons because of lying, I will fall into a great purgatory. Scary. So better don't lie. Start from today. Start from right now. Okay? So, and the body and the mind sense source is 415. It says during the innumerable, the second paragraph, during the innumerable, well, actually there is one also on 414, the first paragraph in the middle of it, open quotation in the middle of it. During this innumerable eons of my previous life, I craved aromas, taste, and feelings from touch, and did many evil things. This is about body sense doors, okay? And for this reason, for the innumerable lives, I have always found myself born in various undesirable bodies, including those of beings in purgatories, hungry spirits, animals, beings in remote places, and people of wrong views. Okay, that is touch, bodily touch. And that one on 415 is body and mind. Okay, the last paragraph is body and mind. The sins of the body are killing, stealing, and fornication, while thinking bad thoughts is the sin of the mind. So committing the 10 evil actions and the 5 irredeemable sins is just like being a monkey, or like bird-lime glue. Attachment to all sorts of things lead to the passions of the 6 sense faculties. The actions of these 6 sense faculties fill every threefold world, and so on, and all places where there is life, filling them with heavy branches, small branches, flower, and such actions increase ignorance, old age, death, and the 12 kinds of sufferings, and inevitably involve the 8 evils and the 8 difficulties. So, you can see with the body sense doors about the touch, and also the mind sense doors about the thoughts. Actually, it creates a lot of unskillful actions and irredeemable sins. And it compares the irredeemable sins and the 10 evil actions to a monkey. Why? Or like bird-lime bird lime glue. What is bird lime glue? I don't understand what is bird lime glue. So I cannot actually explain to you. But I think for a monkey is a monkey wanted, a hunter wanted to catch a monkey and put a bait there, and the monkey wanted to grab the bait from there for food, and it got stuck because the hunter put some glue in. So the monkey wanted to pull the other hand out, and it got stuck. And he tried to kick his hands out with his leg, and he got stuck. I think that is the analogy here, because there is no commentary on this, so I think that is the analogy. Wow, it takes longer than I thought. Yeah. Okay, dedications of merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the words of the Buddha, to study them, to practice them, and to help themselves, to liberate themselves from their own entanglements and attain the ultimate freedom, happiness, and peace. Okay, good night.